Welcome to That's Debatable Family. Episode number 7 here on the Yamo Media. And guess what? This is our 1-year anniversary. So happy 1-year anniversary, boys. Shout out to my guys. You know me, I'm Ryan Dietrich, here with my boy Jeremiah Bays and my guy Will Ward. Celebrating 1 year behind the mics, on air. That's Debatable. We've come a long way. Definitely made some progress. We look a little cleaner. We're a little more organized.
All right, so what do you remember about the first episode?
Not a damn thing.
You don't remember anything?
Nope.
What about you?
I believe that was around the time where there was the Olympics. I believe we were doing a little bit of basketball talk back then. Draymond Green, that type of antics that you were spewing back then.
Draymond Green.
Yeah, he was running the offense through Draymond Green. He said, try to figure out why Team USA couldn't get those key wins, but they ended up coming out with the gold.
That was just scrimmage time. They lost their first couple scrimmage games. That was also the day before Game 6. It was right before Game 6 of the NBA Finals.
Dude, that's right.
You was trying to root for Phoenix to kind of pull on strong. Ryan was the only one that said, nope, nah. It's a nail in the coffin tonight. And he was right that night. And that boy went out there with a 50-piece. I remember.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's like, Giannis is going to put a nail in it. And he did more than put a nail in it. He definitely buried the whole Suns.
Dude, there's just a good, there's a good little snapshot of where we were in 2021 in July. The NBA Finals were finishing up on July 20th, July 19th, whatever date it was. So schedule's back to a little bit more normal, but yeah, man, I went back and watched some of that footage. Was, definitely a throwback.
Yeah, it was definitely, I said, because I was saying that Draymond, you could run the offense through Draymond, and you didn't quite understand what I was saying. And I'm like, no, you run the offense through Draymond Green, but Kevin Durant and all of them is going to do what they do. And looking in hindsight, the Olympics, I was kind of right.
Yep. Yeah, the Olympics popped up. And it was still pretty quiet, though. The Olympic, I remember we talked about that. Like, none of us were watching much of that on TV. I remember ratings and some things like that were kind of low, but, the Olympics are still a good thing. They've got plenty of awards for folks in the Olympics tonight. For the ESPY Awards, which we're going to get to. The ESPY's live going on right now. Hopefully you got ESPN on your TV. Hopefully you got us on your laptop, your phone right next to you.
You can have us on your TV, too.
That's right. Any mobile device near you. But last night was the MLB All-Star Game in Los Angeles. The night before that, my favorite event of the Major League Baseball season. Like I've been saying these last few episodes, baseball's a little lackluster. Wanes on the fans. It's hard. It's hard to get into, especially for me. So home run derby, nothing but dingers out in L.A., all the celebrities, all that thing. And their unis were fire. I was a big fan of the NL and AL jerseys last night. Right. 22 is my number. So I was thinking, man, maybe I need to find me a 22 baseball jersey. Roll, Kershaw of the Dodgers, that white. Not that I would rock a Dodgers jersey necessarily, but Kershaw's the man. So
yeah, those jerseys were nice.
So.
Gotcha. And speaking of number 22,
baseball jersey, that would be fire.
Dude, we talked about that. We might have to get there. So, but speaking of number 22, I believe Juan Soto, the winner of the Home Run Derby, is actually number 22, young man playing for the Washington Nationals.
Young man, as in 23 years old.
Yep, he was making headlines over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, somewhere around there. If we've got a tweet, thank you, sir. You can read it right there. He turned down the largest contract in Major League Baseball history, which would be the grand total of $440 million over 15 years. And as you all know, every contract in the major leagues is guaranteed, fully guaranteed. That's the beauty of it. That's why we always remember Bobby Bonilla Day, July 1st. So Juan Soto rejected a 15-year, $400 million contract. My favorite part of that story is that the Washington Nationals were so salty and so spiteful that they wouldn't charter that man a jet to the Home Run Derby, made him fly commercial. He got into L.A. at like 1 in the morning, rolled out of bed the next day and won the Home Run Derby. And by doing that, he's going to increase his payday. That bag is getting bigger. You asked us before we got in here, is he going to get a bigger paycheck? You guys think so? In my mind, the Yankees are just going to, here any time in the next weeks or so, just going to throw it at him.
I feel like if you got one team that's wants to sign you to that type of deal with that type of money, you could definitely. There's another team out there.
Hey, but looking at you saying the Yankees, they already got Aaron Judge. They got the big guy who came up big, Giancarlo Stanton. He came up big last night in the home run, or excuse me, in the All-Star game.
Yep.
But to team those three guys up, you got to have a big bag. And the Yankees are usually the team that has that much. Yeah. But for him to turn that down, meaning Juan Soto, to turn that down, he has to feel something inside of himself and know that I'm worth this much, and I really don't like what's going on with the Nationals right now. So he has to feel something, and by them not even wanting to get a man a private jet, give him a jet to go to the game,
Dude, right.
That's saying something about them also. So, hey, it's interesting to see, and that's a lot of money to be just turning down. But
a 15-year deal, that's a long commitment, though.
That's a long time. And you seen they had Bryce Harper there for a little while, and he is up out of there. But those baseball players, like we said, the guaranteed money.
He got traded for, I believe. He a Dodger now.
He's with the Phillies.
Okay.
Nobody wants to be with the Nationals. Nobody wants to be in D.C. So,
and I don't know what the deal with that
is. The only person is Bradley Bill.
That's it,
dude. There you go. Yeah, Bryce Harper, I think his contract was 10-year, $300 million. I think that was like the first landmark. I think Trout came out the next year's. If I remember right, we'll have to do some snooping. But Bryce Harper's was 10 for $300. And you mentioned it. Soto's only 23. 15 years is a long-ass time. I mean,
38 when he done.
Dude, and he's only been, that's more, like over half of his life, signing away 15 years. So I'm assuming he's a little bit hesitant about that, but you think his contract offer will hit the $500 million mark? You got a ballpark for it? Any idea?
You're talking about with the Yankees. You can be talking about those numbers, and he seemed like he can be one of those once in a lifetime. You seen the old man Albert Pujols. He was at the game and played very well. But you got to have some type of upside to you. So I think he could be worth that money. And seeing what he turned down, $440 million, you got to think it's going to be somewhere in that ballpark of something a little bit more. Maybe I would say 465, but look somewhere around there. But if it's with the Yankees, how much money do they really have? Is there even a salary cap?
It is it is unlimited.
So it's open.
But I'm looking up here. So if the Yankees was to make that move, Aaron Judge is only on a 1-year deal for $19 million this season. He's an UFA,
unrestricted free agent. Yep.
Yeah. Ooh. But so how would they be able to make that move, paying him $440 million? At the end, they still got to pay Aaron Judge. Isn't Aaron Judge like a better player, if I'm not mistaken?
Nah. Well, probably at this stage, probably not.
He was smoking hot too when he came out the gate.
He was. I think Judge fires his flames have dwindled a little bit. Juan Soto is definitely the hot young rising star, and this is typical Yankees fashion. That's what they do. Like Giancarlo Stanton had, I think, 1 or 2 big seasons in Miami. Just went down there, swooped him up right away.
Real quick.
They did the same thing with Nolan Arenado. Arenado had a pretty extended, he was in Colorado for 4 or 5 years. Plucked him right out of there. Oh, not Arenado. I'll think of it anyway. One thing I did look at, Nationals are bad. They're last in the AL. They're last in the NL East at 31-63. So I can understand him.
No, I think he wants to win.
I would think so too. Win and get out of town.
You reject that type of money because you want a winning situation. And I don't ever remember them being in a winning situation.
That's contrary to popular belief because we are the type that always says cash is king.
Yep.
And
True.
For most people, we've been wondering, is there loyalty to the game? Is there loyalty to a team? Is there loyalty to the bag? And by him turning down, that amount of money, saying, hey, I don't want to play here for this amount of money. I want to go somewhere where I'm going to win. That shows where he's loyal to, and it's got to be a winning organization. So,
dude, there you go. That's a good point, Will, because we say that on here all the time. Cash is king. I've been ragging on Kevin Durant for not being about rings and winning and just being about money. This is a good contrary point to that. But I guess the question is, is Juan Soto going to get even more while wanting to move somewhere and win? But it's all, from my standpoint, from a fan standpoint, as we're sitting here, working 40, 50 hours a week, minimum wage, taking pay, whatever we can. As sports fans, it's always it's hard to grasp these numbers and Anybody turning down $440 million is absolutely insane to me.
Me at this table.
I mean, right, like, so, we try and put a perspective on it, but that's one thing I always like talking money and contracts because it's hard to wrap your mind around. Right. This is a big discussion in the Live Golf and the PGA Tour as well. Like the whole thing based on money. So, always a hot topic. Cash is king. We know that. So, sticking with the MLB All-Star Game, though, you mentioned it earlier. Giancarlo Stanton or Aaron Judge helped out the NL last night. So, the National League – wait a minute. Do I have that backwards? The winner of the Major League All-Star Game – sorry, let me get there real quick. Winner of the Major League All-Star Game, as you guys know, that league's team gets home field advantage throughout the World Series. It doesn't have to do with best record. So it was the American League last night. So whoever's in the World Series, the American League has home field advantage. I think that's stupid. I think it should go to the record. I mean, that only makes sense to me.
Right.
But baseball's all about tradition and bullshit and whatever. So does that make any sense to you guys? Why you stand with that?
Nah, hell no, that don't make no sense. I'm already playing this long-ass season. That's 164, 62. Yeah, I was getting close. 162 games. I think you mean to tell me I fought this hard if I'm in the NL and I fought this hard for the #1 overall seed, but I can't have home field advantage in the World Series if I'm the one that made it here. I don't think it's fair. Then what if it's like a 7 seed that made it in the American League? They get the home seed. They get the home court.
Yep.
Home field advantage. Nah,
right.
That's not even right. Nah, that's actually whack.
That's the way. That is whack. That's the way it goes, though. That's begs the next question. Like, what kind of home field advantage is there in baseball anyway?
That's debatable.
You gotta. It's home field advantage everywhere you go, whether it's in any sport. You gotta have the home crowd behind you. But to have your home field be determined by something different besides the record, you call it tradition. It's something different. That's the best way. It's different. That's my man.
It's different. There you go.
But I like it. It's something that's decided in the middle of the season. It's not going to be you keep looking at the stats. We already know where we're going. We already know who got home field advantage.
Yeah, there you go.
So you got to continue to play. You got to continue to ball out. It don't just matter about who comes down to the final couple of weeks, couple of records. I think it's a nice thing to have.
Dude, yeah, coming straight off the NBA playoffs where it's all jockeying for that last position, especially with the play-in tournament, looking at who has home court moving throughout the finals, those kinds of things, like, definitely a bigger thing. Whereas in baseball, like, you're right, it's already decided it's not part of the playoff conversation.
If your record's strong, if you're one of those stronger teams, one of the top elites, then you don't care about where you play.
You'll go into wherever and swing lumber.
Some teams do care about the 1 seed. Usually it's the 1 seed that care. That's why they fought for it. But I feel like only reason why they could do something like that is to make the All-Star game more competitive.
Yep.
So you could actually have something you're competing for versus just, because the
Pro Bowl.
Yeah, or even if the NBA All-Star game, like if they did something like that, I don't know if I like that either. The East or West winner goes and gets home court advantage because they can. I don't know, man. I'm not for it.
Yeah, I understand that all the way. My only differentiating thing would be, home field advantage in baseball, slightly less imperative to, going into the Garden or, something like that.
The NFL couldn't do nothing like that anyway because theirs is after the Super Bowl.
Dude, yep. Yeah, you'd be hosting it. Well, you wouldn't host it.
Yeah, and then Super Bowl's on neutral grounds. Anyway.
Right.
Except for the last two. That's just because of the Rams and the Buccaneers.
Yeah, we may never see nothing like that happen again for a long time.
Shit,
it definitely won't happen this year. Nah,
Arizona's
nowhere near close going to Super Bowl.
I was going to say, where's the Super Bowl at?
It's in Arizona.
It should have been the Vikings.
Yeah, dude.
We didn't beat the Eagles. We had that opportunity.
Okay.
The Super Bowl was in Minnesota that year.
You talking about back then?
Yeah, and I'm not done this year. And I'm talking about the year we hosted the Super Bowl.
Right when they just.
But we got smoked by the
2-3
Eagles.
years ago.
Yeah, the Minneapolis Miracle year. Yeah,
Yep.
I thought it was meant to be.
Yeah, right.
I know how the NFC Championship games these past 2 seasons for the Rams fans and Bucks fans. I know exactly how they feel.
Dude, right?
It felt like it was just meant to be, especially the Rams fans with the way they went in there and how they got past the way they got past the Buccaneers is almost similar to how the Vikings got past the Saints that year.
That was a wild game. And the SB Awards tonight, like I mentioned, that's one of those, who's the best team? The LA Rams, et cetera, et cetera. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But let's keep it with the money train. Bring those bags out. Our guy, James Harden, hot topic of debate. He's everybody's. He's the people's champ.
He's definitely not my champion.
He's not champion himself, but
anyway. James Harden is in the news today. He came out yesterday. His agent said, I want to take less money to try and build a championship team in Philly. If I take less money, build around me. Tom Brady does it. Other guys do it. I can't think any off the top of the head. There's our tweet from The Source magazine. This was a little bit earlier. I think this tweet came out earlier today, maybe about noon. Gives them the okay to take a little less. Let's see what we can work with here. Great idea. Always sounds like it's going to work in principle. And just before we got going on the show here, about 7 o'clock, I saw come across my Twitter feed that James Harden signed a 2-year, $68.6 million contract. First year, $33 million. Second year, $35.6 million. And now I have a player option that he can accept or decline that and enter free agency, which is exactly what he just did. So a couple weeks ago, he turned down $47 million. So he's taken about $14 million less. He could have had $47 million this year. Took 14 less, taken 33. So what are you guys' thoughts? Basically, well, what I want to know is who are they going to add around him? Who are they going to build around him with that extra money?
I mean, you already got Embiid there. They just brought in P.J. Tucker.
First of all, they're not building around James Harden. They're building around Joel Embiid. That's the thing. I think the whole little thing of him taking less money so you could build around him, and they just say the team was.
Well, all right, we'll build around him and Joel.
Yeah, that's just to tell the fans that I feel like he had to take less money. He wasn't even worth the $47 million that he was able to get. He hasn't performed that way. You can't quit your way out of the last two towns, out of Brooklyn and Houston. I feel like he still deserved the money that he once earned when he was putting up them numbers. And he's definitely not. He's far from. He's still got great numbers for a decent player. 23 and 10. He's still averaging a double. But they only brought in P.J. Tucker. Not only, but P.J. Tucker, he's on a ring chasing situation right now from the Bucks. He tried it at the Heat, and he's going to fail again with the 76ers. He should have stayed in Milwaukee. I don't know why he left. That's what I don't know.
Not always up to him.
Yeah, but that's who they brought in, and I mean they still got Maxey. I think did they finally get rid of Tobias, or they need to get rid of
Tobias?
They need to get, or they either need to get rid of Tobias or Tobias that showed up that was in the movie. You seen the Adam Sandler movie yet?
Hustle, huh?
Yeah, the Tobias Harris that was in the Hustle movie playing against Juan Hormon Gomez. Yeah, that's the Tobias that definitely need to show up, but. Besides that, it's still some moves that the 76ers need to make.
Like adding who?
More shooters. If they could get more.
Is there a good free option name out there?
I don't know what true leadership that they have on their roster right now.
James Harden.
That's the problem.
Chris Middleton still stuck in Milwaukee?
You keep always rebuilding on him in the club. What's the club guy? That's how he gets his unwind down. That's where he gets his zen, his feng shui. James is one of those type of players where he needs to be in that type of environment.
That booty meditation.
Hey, Deshaun Watson messed it. I don't know. That's what you called it. But I think he said he'd take less money to prove that he's a team player. He wants to be put around, not the bag. He's not going for the bag. He wants to be in the bag. Exactly. So that's why he was saying, I'm more of a team player. Put me in a situation where I can turn down money. I don't need the money, and I want to be in a winning organization, and Philly is where I want to be. He could have signed with anybody. Right. He could have went ahead and, walked somewhere else and took his talents down to South Beach with Jimmy or out with Bron.
I don't think he had a hot ticket, and him in South Beach is not good. If he played for Miami, oh, Lord.
Dude, you never know, man. You never know. Tiger can change his stripes. He's getting older. That beard's getting a little gray. He's a little more mature. Maybe he's going to re-sign his trolley deal, come out with some new gummies. Who knows what's up? And he's got one of the largest Adidas endorsements. It's like $250 million with Adidas or something. He's got one of the largest contracts with them. So, I mean, I like the move. It's maybe a little bit superficial. Maybe just You know, just
good.
yeah, you sound good.
Sound good.
Just
Can't argue against it because if he would have took the money, I felt like it would have been a lot more pushback versus him taking less. Now it could just go back under the rug, and he could go back to the club. He already got the bag.
It'll be like Donald Trump not taking his payment for being president. It's like, look what I did, some good things, and then just shit the rest of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know that's James St. Patrick. That's what I call him. So we'll still see. It doesn't matter what he do this season. I know he's talking about he's going to put in a lot of work this season. I don't care what he do in the season.
Do you got a free agent shooter that they need to add? Anybody off the top of your head?
No, I don't even know who's still available.
All right, we'll have to check our when we go to break. We'll check the WNBA, the NBA free agency tracker. But all right, let's see what they can happen, man. If Embiid can play, it's just court time for Embiid, man. If he can stay on the court, hard to take a little less, maybe just cool out a little bit, not try and do everything. I mean, those two you have that much talent on the floor anyway, dude. You can make anything happen.
Hey, at this point, you just got to come out and perform.
Right.
I think the same thing goes with the guys over in Brooklyn. You getting all this negative hype about yourself. You got to come out and put on a show for the fans and to still show that I'm one of the elite players in the NBA. Yep. So I gotta think that James is tired of hearing all the naysay and all the negativity that's coming about his name. And he's going to come out and perform in Philly. It's a city of brotherly love and should be a city of second chances. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they did give Michael Vick a second chance, huh?
Hey, they booed Santa Claus and threw snowballs at him. So James got a lot to prove still. But, hey, saying that I'm more of a team player, that's one way in the right direction.
I'm just saying that's not Iverson. But ain't no real available free agents that can actually help their roster right now. They would have to make a move to get that type of weapon. That they would
trade during the season.
Yeah. I don't know. If you don't flip Tobias for a two-way player, I mean, not even just a two-way player, I just say they could flip Tobias for something else.
All right. Well, there you have it. James Harden signs a new contract with the Sixers, heading back to Philly for a little less money. We're going to keep it on the money train. We're going to jump over to the NFL. I heard a story today, looked into it a little bit. The most expensive tickets for the upcoming NFL season is actually the Buccaneers and Seattle Seahawks. I think it's a Week 10 game over in Germany. They're playing in Munich, Germany at one of the FC Bayern Munich arenas. I saw all sorts of the ticket entry website was locked down today. Yeah, there you go. Cheapest tickets are $608. The most expensive are up to like that $22,000. I saw a bunch of things that the queue had 50,000 people in it trying to get tickets. I'm sure that's all sorts of bots and things, but big frenzy. Obviously, there hasn't been an NFL game in Germany in at least a couple of years. So my question to you guys, will NFL Europe make a comeback or some version of it?
I mean, that matchup sucks. Was they expecting Russell Wilson to be there? Or
that's the only thing you got, man. That's
I just don't get why is it the Tampa Bay. I get the Bucs side of it. That's Tom Brady, and that's the.
It doesn't matter who's playing. There's one NFL game in Germany. That's it. That's the whole thing.
For it to be the most
supply demand,
the most expensive game, and for the matchup, I just don't see why it's that matchup. I just feel like it should be a better marquee matchup. Especially for the fans out there.
No, that's the
matchup.
NFL.
This is Tom Brady's going away tour. So you want to put Tom up against somebody that I can go and annihilate real quick. So Seattle, we don't know who they're going to come out there. We know they're going to have DK Metcalf. Stay tuned for where DK is going to land on my top 10 list. But you got Tom Brady, you got Mike Evans, you got Tampa Bay, and like he said, you're over in Germany. You don't care who's going to come play. You just want to come to a game. I was in Germany probably around like 93, and I remember your team, Minnesota, and the Buffalo Bills coming over. I was a young kid then, and I didn't know too much about football, but I knew who that team was, So you're just in that atmosphere. You don't have a chance to come over to America all the time and see some of the best players in the world, but you're going to pay that ticket to see Tom Brady on his retirement tour. This is his going away farewell tour. In Week 10, is he still going to be up there?
Yep. That's the people of Germany could go to that game. I'm gonna have other games on my TV that day.
All right.
For sure.
I'll be watching that, dude. Check it out.
It's going to be early in the morning.
Yep.
That's the good thing about,
and it'll be in a different arena, different crowd environment, all those things. So let me pose the question again. Will an NFL Europe ever make a return?
Well, they're trying.
Any sort of future like that? There used to be an NFL Europe, as my guy Adam informed me earlier.
Yeah, there was an NFL Europe, but will there be an NFL team that's actually going to be stationed in Germany? That's what we kind of trying to wait and see, because the NFL is a billion-dollar industry, as we already know, but they want to try to expand the globe a little bit more. So if you're getting fans to pay this amount of money for one game that's not even a marquee game, if you got an actual team there, are they going to still get the same revenue? Right. So once again, Menzel, cash is king, and we'll see what happens with that.
I don't think it'll work. What American players is going to want to be stationed in Germany?
Yep, that's the
it's
the
hard
tough
enough
part,
to get
travel.
American players to be stationed in Toronto.
Travel from the West Coast to the East Coast. Yep.
I know that's the NBA, but I don't
stationed like they're soldiers.
And I know the Germans don't got a solid enough 53-man roster to put together.
All right, well, here's my thing. NFL Europe, what's 2022? 8 years, 2030. I've envisioned an NFL Europe of about 8 teams that's basically a G League. The developmental league for the NFL. It would take place after February, those things like that, much like the USFL was here this year. 8 teams, a 2-month season schedule. So you send it over there, you got 8 teams, couple countries, you roll out a 10-week season. Most of your developmental players, rookies, unsigned guys, all that, they have their season, have their league. And dudes that perform well end up moving up to the NFL that following season. It's kind of where I see it. You wouldn't, the investment money they've got, it'd open up a huge opportunity for athletes overseas. Trying to get rugby players, soccer players, all sorts of different kinds of things. It's basically an untapped market of talent in Europe. All those kids play soccer. I mean, there isn't a whole lot of football over there, so. Maybe it's another avenue for there, but that was kind of my vision today when I was thinking about it was, I bet this ends up something like a G League. Take the USFL and just move it over to Europe. Rock that way. So that's where I see it. I don't know, 8-10 years? Possibly. So, but I thought that was interesting, man. I ain't paying $700 to go to a game.
No.
It's already crazy expensive.
That's almost Super Bowl prices.
Dude, yeah. I mean, like you said, dude, Tom Brady's farewell tour in Germany, 1 game. That's Super Bowl for them. They can go see it and rock and roll.
US dollars?
Yeah, 608 US. I think it was like 690 euro or something. I don't remember what it was.
Right, yeah, no.
Whatever the conversion rate is. But cash is king, like you said. All right, we just about a half hour into the show. We're going to take a quick commercial break right here in just a second. When we come back, we're going to touch on some Madden rankings, which I hate. And then we'll get to my guy, Will Ward's top 10 wide receiver rankings in the NFL. We'll wrap up with a little bit of SB talk. I know what's going on right now, but stick with us here on That's Debatable. Will's wide receiver rankings coming up right after the break. We'll be back.
The Lance and Eileen Porter Foundation is a proud partner with the Ohio Media School and Score on Air Network. The foundation has provided food and other essentials to families in Columbus's Northeast Quadrant since 2018. They've also established the Porter Athletic League, which provides a safe environment for youths 8 to 13 to play sports, study, and work with volunteers from the Columbus Police and Franklin County Sheriff's Departments. For more information, visit lanceandeileenporterfoundation.org today.
Cody Ballard. I am the co-owner and co-founder of the Brick League Pro-Am. The difference between year 1 and year 6 is the look of everything and the feel of everything. We I didn't keep it, the competition kind of, the same high level. I think our league compared to other leagues is, our league is real basketball. It's really gritty. Some of the biggest names is Jayshawn Tate, offhand. He's just signed a deal with the Houston Rockets for $22 million, so congratulations. Jared Solinger has played. This is his second year. Yeah, the Westons. Yeah, he's definitely gonna yell at me about that. Yeah, Caleb and Andre, Jamel Morris. We've had a lot of good players come through. So, yeah, it's been a really good experience over the 6 years. The reason we started, the Pro-Am was because we have a training academy and we wanted to give our kids. We try to always speed up the process and keep them ahead. So how I learned how to play basketball and why I was successful at basketball was I always played against older people. So when I went down and played with my age group or in high school, it was just so much easier. So we try to keep our kids a step ahead. So, with not only playing, but if you're a high school kid and you get a chance to be on a team with a Ron Lewis and a Todd Brown or a Jared Solinger and a Leon Rogers, high school or college kid, you learn so much because they've played pro basketball for 10 or 12 years. So you're learning so much. And then when you go into your high school season or your college season, or even if you're out of college and you're going into your first pro season, you are years ahead with the knowledge that you have from, playing around those people. So we do a good job of mixing that in. The pro guys really accept it. They could be, high maintenance and say, we don't want any college kids or high school kids on our team, but they understand the importance of, getting these kids to learn the game of basketball. So, a big shout out to them and accepting how we do this league. The Brick League playoffs is going to be really exciting. I think there's going to be a new winner this year. I'm honestly picking Aqua Science. They have everybody back, and with their long wings, and they have 2 good bigs, I think that's going to be the team that wins it all. If you look on, Red Bull's undefeated, and then Nate Miller's elite with Jared Solinger, Leon Rogers, Scott Thomas, and now they just added Keyshawn Woods, who used to play for Ohio State. They're going to be a tough team, but every game is going to be a tough game. And then the finals, of course, is best out of 3. I'm guaranteed that'll go 3 games for whichever 2 teams are in the finals.
Talk about the shit talking.
That makes the league. And it never goes off of the court. Everybody pretty much respects one another, but that's what separates our league from everybody else. Like, you're trying to win. We're not trying to go out there and just have fun, showboat, you score, I score. It's like, no, this is about bragging rights. And, so that's what makes the league. So yes, if you come to a game or if you've been to a game, you will hear a lot going on and you would think that people really dislike each other, but that's just a competitive spirit. People really care about this league and people really want to win and say that they've won, the Brick League.
We're back. Welcome back, fans. That's Debatable. Let's see. This is period number 2 coming out of our first intermission. Jaron Will with us as always. AD behind the computer running the 1s and 2s. Big shout out to Adam Dell. I'll finish my GameStop story later.
No, you said what they used to do with the Walmart.
All right. We'll blow them out right. It's real quick. So I had a buddy who worked at GameStop. Had a buddy who worked at GameStop. He'd go to Walmart, buy a video game, take the disc out, and then he'd go to GameStop and use the shrink wrap to seal up the empty box and just take it back and return it to Walmart and keep the disc. You know what I mean? So it looks like it was unopened because they had a shrink wrapper at GameStop. Wow. Slick, man. Kids these days, you got to look out. They're getting sharp. But anyway. Mad rankings.
I've heard some stuff about it like that.
It's smooth, man.
I'm going to just say I know this guy. I'm not going to put any names to protect the innocent. But when the games were come out, you play for a long time, your controller may go down. Same kind of, for instance, you take the old controller, put it inside the new box.
There you go.
Take the old one back. But yeah, that was You know,
Nice.
this guy, not this guy, but a guy.
A guy. The old swap. All right, speaking of video games, Madden rankings are out, which I find entirely useless, arbitrary, and dumb. They don't matter at all. I don't know. There's an algorithm. Also, they're live, so they change throughout the season. So who gives a shit what they say now? But it's been a hot topic of debate. ESPN has so little to talk about that they've dedicated one day each week to Madden rankings and discussing those. So I met a guy at the dog park this morning that said ESPN is just ruining sports. So here we go. Let's get into it. Madden rankings, running backs.
I don't watch ESPN.
Hit me with the graphic. All right, there it is. Derrick Henry, 97. Nick Chubb, 96. CMC, 96. JT, 95. Jair's guy, Dalvin, at 94. Joe Mixon, 93. AK-41, 90. Aaron Jones, 89. Austin Eckler, 88. The pound-for-pound champ that low. Get out. And Zeke, way overrated at 88. Man, that's some junk. What y'all think? What's right? What's wrong with that list? King Henry at the top. King Henry, what? They docked him 2 points because he's injury prone. Is that it?
Yeah, because I think
Like
he
the
was a
dude-
99 after the season he had it.
All right.
Maybe fireworks or that AK-41 you were talking about.
AK-41.
Yeah, and that's where he ended up. But anyway,
So yeah, Henry's only at 97
I
because
think he was a 97.
he was a 99
prior.
last year, but he got
But
hurt.
My issue with this list, number one, JT should be he should be a 98, 99 as well. He should be number one after the season he had last year.
Or at
Finishing with
least number
18.
2, yeah.
Yeah, at least number 2. He should be at least 97, 98. Now, yeah, I think he should be 98. No reason why he shouldn't be. 18. He had 1,800 yards last year. 18 touchdowns. There's no reason why he literally, outside of the Colts missing the playoffs, because that was Carson Wentz's fault. But he dang near carried him to the playoffs. I got a problem with Christian McCaffrey. He's been injured the last 2 seasons. I don't even know how he's ranked above JT and Dalvin Cook. That's absurd. He shouldn't even be ranked above Joe Mixon with the season that Joe Mixon had. He should be ranked above. He should be right there above Alvin Kamara, because Alvin Kamara not even a real running back. He only there because he a guy. He's not. He's like
I don't know.
he's like the opposite of Debo. Like he's on, but I don't think he's as good as Debo is. Debo's definitely more physical, but he's definitely listed as a running back, but does a lot of catching, and he's listed as a receiver, but doing a lot of running.
But he catches most of those behind the line of scrimmage too.
Yeah, so he really ain't. Like I said, he's not a real running back for real. So.
Wow.
Damn, man. So
yeah, I think Christian McCaffrey
we need
should be slotted
an
right above
official
him.
definition of not,
I mean, Zeke
what is a
at
running
Zeke
back?
at 88. I mean, Zeke should probably be like somewhere around 83, 82.
Dude, right?
Well, he plays for the Cowboys.
I am fading that, dude. I got no faith
Hey,
in
man,
Zeke.
that man brought me a championship, so I will forever love Zeke. I do not
gotcha.
care. That man ran.
That's
me
why I
to
like
the title.
AK. Kamara, man. He won me a ship, helped me get to another one or two. He's just that footwork, man. He's got the fastest feet in the league, maybe.
Only thing I got as far as that list is probably Zeke. I think he should be ranked a little bit lower just because of his production hasn't been his usual production. We've used to seeing Zeke come out the backfield,
Right.
blast 10, 15 yards on
He was
the
7th
first
in rushing
attempt,
last year, though.
But his actual how many touchdowns did he have? Check that out.
Right.
I remember him getting down to the red zone
10?
not often.
I think he
and
only
then
had
he's sharing the load.
He had 10.
I think he only had
in
300
Dallas
yard
right now.
games. Go ahead.
Yeah, he finished with 1,002, and it took the 17th game for him to get 1,000 yards.
There you go.
So for him to be up there, but I have seen some highlights of him working out this past, this offseason.
That's
So
every offseason. He can't.
Huh?
You're good. Keep going. Keep
Well,
going.
what he can't come back into this season with. I gotta assume that these guys gotta get tired of hearing their name. The same thing I had said for James earlier. You gotta get tired of hearing your name in a negative light inside of the media. So you would think they would come out and try to prove not just to the media wrong, but to themselves as saying, hey, I'm worth whatever these guys are paying me. But they keep saying once Z got the bag, then he kind of just his production's falling off.
Yep.
And he's sharing with Tony Pollard right now, which is the main thing I think why you have seen his production go down. But I think when it comes down to the 3 yards in a cloud of dust, I don't know if Zeke's still that guy no more.
He is not that guy no
He's
more.
definitely not.
And that, the other
Ohio
thing,
State got the most out
the
of him.
shelf life of an NFL running back is very short. 3.5, 4 years, something like that.
Yeah. Well, my issue is with this list though is that they don't have Najee Harris somewhere in this top 10. He should be above Zeke, Eckler, Aaron Jones. What is it? Because he a squiller? I mean, he finished fourth. He got me saying
Harris
squiller.
is a beast.
He finished fourth in the rushing yards last year with 1,200, and he had 7 touchdowns. And I don't got his receiving stats right here, but I know he had a lot of. He was definitely a favorite of Big Ben because Big Ben ain't throw too far.
He was a favorite for the Steelers offense.
He was 40% of their offense.
Yeah, so I'm saying he should have been in his top 10. He should at least been ranked above Zeke. I don't know where they got him ranked at. Austin Eckler, he was a god dang. What's the dude that kept calling in and talking about Austin Eckler?
JoJo.
Yeah, shout out JoJo. But Eckler was a
Dude, the pound for pound
a
champ.
fantasy football phenom last year. He was
The monster.
He was lighting it up. I don't even know how that don't get him at least in the 90s, but
Right.
Najee Harris should definitely be higher than Zeke,
Yep.
Aaron Jones.
I'm with you there. Bump Zeke out. Bring in Najee. Drop CMC. JT's got to be 2. Nick Chubb is a hell of a running back. I love me some Nick Chubb. Don't get me wrong. Can't stand the Browns, but I like Nick Chubb. And Joe Mixon, man, I just hope he continues to carry his success into this season because a lot of, he struggled. He kept getting banged up those first couple years and finally got locked and loaded and ready to load.
Last year,
He's a big part of that offense, but
yeah,
I'm a big believer in the run game first. Or not necessarily first, but you got to have a run game. When all else fails, all you got to do is run the ball. Controls time of possession, minimizes mistakes. It just helps with the flow of the whole process, which is why I think the Chiefs be struggling. They're not struggling, but I think they need more of a running game.
Depend too heavily on a run, like your 49ers.
Yep.
Teams, you need to have some balance. A nice quarterback and a
You
solid
should have
run
said
game.
the Titans, right?
Yeah, them
Because
too.
when the running game goes away, Tannehill takes over.
Yeah.
And that's it for him.
Yeah, you're right. The Titans.
But you're on the right train, so. Well, all right, speaking of wide receivers in the passing game, let's get to it. This is our first one of the year. Will Ward's top 10. Well, technically we wouldn't. Well, all right. First one of the year. Will Ward's top 10 wide receiver rankings. This is my favorite time.
All right.
All right, Willie's crazy lists.
Crazy list indeed is what it's been dubbed, and I know a lot of people out there may not, may look at this list and say how, why, but you got questions, call in, hit the chat, and we can discuss it. But to start it off, in Cincinnati, they're saying they're going to be one of the best receiver cores in the whole entire NFL. So that's why I have number 10, one of the trio that's going to be down there in the 513, Tyler Boyd. That's one of the biggest debatable receivers on this list so far. I keep getting a lot of flack back saying how, why Tyler Boyd. But he's one of those guys that's going to get a lot of balls thrown to him because you're going to have a double team on Jamar Chase. You may have another good, solid safety over on T. Higgins. So you may see a lot in Tyler Boyd this season. Pick him up in your fantasy league. I think he's going to be one heck of a player to have down, maybe not as a 1 or 2, but definitely on the roster. So pick up Tyler.
And I'm with you there. I've liked Boyd because I've had him in a fantasy league last couple of seasons. Lots of catches, and especially when Higgins went the 2 years ago. Higgins goes down. Tyler Boyd stepped in, had a pretty big role, was the number 1 for a few weeks. He's just a great route runner. Kid's out of Notre Dame, right? Smart, always coached well, played well, prepped well, coming from Notre Dame. So, trustworthy.
Boyd's out of Pittsburgh. Sorry, but Boyd's out of Pittsburgh.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right, well, never mind. Cancel that.
Hey,
But, I still like him. He's consistent.
But everything
He's got
else was
good
right
hands.
about what you said.
Yeah, that's right. He's consistent. He's got good hands. Seems like he's got a head on his shoulders. So, rock with Tyler Boyd. I'm with you there.
So,
maybe
at number
not
9.
Yep, next
We
is up.
have the phenom, the freak, the team hard body ENT receiver himself, Mr. DK Metcalf. Still trying to figure out who's actually going to be throwing him the ball, but guarantee he's going to be their number 1 receiver. Going to keep it rolling. Number 8, we got Stephon Diggs over with the Bills, the Bill Mafia. I think he's going to be another breakout type season, coming off of over a little bit over 1,200 yards. So
only 1,200. Yeah, he's going to
being one of Josh Allen's favorite targets. I think he's going to have one of those seasons that's going to keep him in the right direction.
He's a dog.
Coming in at number 7 is going to be Tom Brady's number 1 receiver, possibly. I know they got a good one there also, but I think Tom's going to try to go out and prove a point, and Mike Evans is going to be one of his targets that he's going to kind of rely on. So look for a big season out of Mike.
Mr. Red Zone, Mike Evans.
For sure, Mr. Red Zone, he had 14 touchdowns, kind of leading most of the NFL, right underneath of Cooper Kupp, who had 16, but keeps watching to see where Cooper Kupp falls on this list. But this is going to be Tom Brady's farewell tour, as we stated before, and like I said, we got to assume that he's going to be looking for Mike Evans. He doesn't have Gronk anymore, so
not yet.
But staying in Florida is going to be the newest acquisition in Miami. Tua Tagovailoa's best toy on his whole entire roster, the cheetah himself, Tyreek Hill. So see what kind of season he has coming out. Said he has a better quarterback in Tua than he had with Patty Mack. That's debatable, and that's how he feels. But
debatable.
maybe it's that Miami, that Florida heat that's getting to Tyreek. But you got to go hard for your guy.
Podcast, man. He's doing that for his podcast. He's being absurd.
He's supporting his QB.
That's what he is supposed to do.
He's being a good teammate. He's standing behind his dude because he has no option other
his
two.
Teammate.
That contract.
The guy that's throwing him the ball. If you badmouth the quarterback, he ain't
They
going
paying
to throw you the
him to
ball.
say nice things.
Hey, speaking of contracts, we're going to go into the number 5 right here. No sign. I don't know where he is. You see, you don't even have a 49ers jersey on in the picture. Have no clue where Debo is. I don't know if he's still riding the bike, pulling up, if he's hanging out with Kodak Black, but still trying to figure out where Debo is. But
He's somewhere snatching chains, man.
wherever he is, he's still going to, once he comes in to the NFL and to the San Francisco 49ers, he's going to be that gadget back that he was last year. He had 77 receptions, 1,400 yards. But the key thing that I like about Debo, though, is 59 rushing yards, 365 and 8 touchdowns.
First team All-Pro.
That's a gadget back. That's the new transcending type of player. We don't even know if he's a receiver, if he's a running back, but he's number 5 on my list.
I'm going to interject real quick because they just got word today. Jimmy G's agent has allowed him, or the San Francisco 49ers has allowed him to open up conversations with other teams to be traded. So he talked about DK might be going up to Seattle, and if Jimmy gets off the books, that opens up a little bit of money, and I think that Debo deal is going to get done. Take us to number 4.
Hey, speaking of Jimmy G, real quick, Jimmy G, depending on what happens with Deshaun Watson, we still don't know where Deshaun is, but I have heard Jimmy G's name in for the Cleveland Browns. So stay tuned for that.
Nah, that's not happening. They should have, for all that, they should have just kept Baker in the house because they had a solid starting quarterback in the house. But now they're going to sit with Brissett until their guy is able to play. But to the public, I had this conversation earlier with someone, but to the public, they're letting it be known that Jimmy G's available. But behind the scenes, and Jimmy G's and his agent has already probably been working on things. The 49ers has already been taking calls behind the scenes. Like all of that stuff been already been working on since they drafted the young man Trey Lance. So none of that changed. They just finally announced it to where it's in the air now, and it's official, maybe. But
2 months off shoulder surgery, he's back throwing. That's why.
Yeah, he'll probably definitely be in Seattle next year.
All right, hit us with it.
Number 4, some of those Minnesota Vikings
Crazy.
love.
It's crazy.
See the guy right there. He got crazy work. Mr. Justin Jefferson himself, coming off a season where he had 108 receptions, 1,600 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You got to assume that him and Kurt Cuddy going to be trying to hook up again to do something similar to that, if not better, to try to win that NFC North.
Oh my God! No, they're definitely going to win the NFC North this year with the new offensive-minded head coach, fresh off a championship. Kevin O'Connell is definitely going to change that offense. And Justin Jefferson put up 16 yards last year with a defensive-minded head coach who didn't like his quarterback, and he did that. So he was 3rd in receptions last year, 4th in yard. No, 3rd in receptions, 4th in yards, and 7 for touchdowns. And this year, he's saying he's going to be the undisputed top receiver in the league. So he's only going up from here. And I don't know how you about to, because I already know who you got at 3. And after the one season, I still don't see how this rookie is better than a lot of the players that you even got behind him. I think you just pushing him up there too soon. A lot of people are, but we are in the city or in the state of Ohio, and he's got a lot of hype right now. But Madden knew where to put him, so I'm not even worried about it. I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish, but I'm just saying.
So, at number 3, we got the guy that's going to run this team all the way to Arizona. Once again, the man Jamar Chase. Shout out to the homie. Came in last year, phenomenal rookie season, rookie of the year, as we already had stated this time kind of last year. 81 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Coming off a season where they had only won 2 games the year before, he led the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl. Not just to the playoffs. Yeah, he led them there.
No,
with
he
Joe
didn't.
Burrow.
Joe Burrow led them to the Super Bowl.
But who was Joe throwing it to?
Joe got hurt, and that's why y'all sucked.
Anyways, that's why he's number 3, one of the best out of LSU. And he's going to have to try to get over the rookie season, no sophomore slump. So looking forward to what he can do again. We already know he's going to be the high target, and a lot of people are going to be looking to try and lock him down. But his upside is very well. He stayed healthy for the most part of the season, and looking forward to big things. Number 2 is going to be the Triple Crown man himself, Mr. Cooper Kupp. It's hard to try to knock a guy that's still on top, but I think he still has the potential to do a lot of good things. You're going to be looking for Robert Woods to come back to kind of take some of the pressure. Don't know if Odell Beckham's going to play any this season.
He's not. They signed the dude from Chicago. What's my man's name? They just signed. They signed
Robinson. But
yeah, Allen Robinson. Yep,
Is it
you're
Robinson?
right. Yeah, Allen Robinson. That's his name. That's who they. So that's who they got filling in that secondary spot. And they got the dude Van Jefferson.
But he's still going to be number 1 in the receiver core for the Rams. Still going to be one of Matt Stafford's number 1 receiver targets. But we shall see. I think he has a great upside. Still 145 catches last year, 1,900 yards, 16 touchdowns, and that's how you become the Triple Crown receiver.
Hard to have some upside coming off of that record-breaking
Can only
season.
get better.
Consistency is the name of the game
Yeah.
with Cooper Kupp, man. He does that every year. Go ahead.
And last but not least, I know
gonna
Adam
have a
Dale
season.
wasn't
That's
really feeling this departure, but Mr. Devontae Adams,
I loved it.
David Carr's new favorite target. No Henry Ruggs. Free Henry. I don't know if we say free Henry.
No, leave his ass in jail.
But Devontae Adams is going to come in.
Drunk, right?
Him and Josh Jacobs is going to tear it up. I think that tandem is going to be electric there. And you got Hunter Renfrow.
Dude, yep.
So I think.
And Waller.
Yeah, so those guys, I know that Carr is going to be just licking his fingers to try to get Devontae the ball a lot. So Devontae had 123 catches under Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns. And he's going to love it in Vegas even more. So hey, that's my top 10. Debate it, chat it, chop it up, say what you want. But, hey, we're going to see. Those are going to be some of the top 10 receivers in the NFL, guaranteed.
What makes Devontae Adams better than Cooper Kupp?
Devontae Adams.
He's a consistent number 1 raw receiver, too. Like, not just you saying that, but after the year that Kupp has had, why doesn't they just give him that nod?
I think they 1A, 1B of one of the best receivers, but the size on Devontae, the speed that he has is going to allow him to do just a little bit. Not disputing anything from Cooper, but the reason I would put him on front is just the size alone, because he's going to be the go-to guy, one, for Carr. But I think he has just the body structure of a number 1.
Quicker, better speed, better route runner. His separation at the line is second to none in the league. You always talk about.
Should we address the elephant in the room?
About Devontae.
About Cooper Kupp?
Getting his separation at the rim. No, because Devontae, I'm going to finish this and then you can address that. Devontae's the best, better than Cooper Kupp for those reasons. Hands, pretty close, but I give those slight edges to Devontae on route running. getting separation at the line of scrimmage. Probably on-field awareness has probably got a higher NFL IQ. Cooper Kupp, man, he does nothing but work on those things over and over and over. And the other thing with Devontae going to Las Vegas is that Hunter Renfrow is only in the position he is and has only played so well is because he's worked on route running, route trees. He invents new crazy kind of things to do it. He puts in all the work in those little details because he's so undersized and less physically gifted than most of the other receivers. So I think Hunter Renfrow is going to get even better being able to learn from Devontae, and from what I see is that Devontae has got that head game, that IQ, that he knows what defense is, he can see it, he can read it, he can adapt on the fly. He's just got that wide receiver skill set. He's just the pro at all of those little things. That's why I think Devontae is number one.
Madden had Keenan Allen and Scary Terry number 8 tied, and I think that you can have the same thing with Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp. You can have a tie between those guys. You're not going to lose any position by having them at 1 or 2. You're going to see a lot of lists that has one at
Cooper Kupp themselves.
They have one at 2, one at 1. It's going to differentiate just depending on who you ask, but you're going to always see one at 1 and one at 2.
Right. What's Shard saying? I bet I'm sure he's out there at Cooper Kupp. Well, I don't know. Depends on how big of a homer you are. What's the elephant in the room you want to address?
I just feel like Cooper Kupp might not get the respect he deserves because he's a white receiver. And in this league today, a lot of the receivers a lot of those specialty players aren't really like that. So you got the people like Christopher McCaffrey when he was really balling. I feel like Cooper Kupp is the best receiver in the league, though. I'm backing that. After the year he put in, and he's one of the few receivers I see zero diva in. Yep. I don't like the prima donna, the whiny baby superstar player receiver. I feel like Cooper Kupp is somebody who really got it out the mud. Now, don't get me wrong, sure. Devontae is great, and I'm not just saying that because he was a Packer. I guess this year we really get to find out if Aaron Rodgers made him or not, or if he really put the work in to get the type of credit that he deserves. Because I still feel like the Raiders is only fighting for a 3rd seed in that division. But they got a lot of firepower over there. We're going to see how it works out. I don't know if Cooper Kupp might be able to the Triple Crown thing again I think it's only been 4 total. Way. So with the last one outside of him being Steve Smith, I think even before that it might have been Jerry. Yeah, I might be wrong on that. No, but it might have been somebody before Jerry. But I know the last one before that was Steve Smith. So something like that doesn't happen. I don't know. 145 receptions, that's a lot. 1,900 yards, can he duplicate that? I don't know. I think the touchdown count will still be high just because Matty Ice the other Matty Ice knows how to sling it into the end zone.
Well, the Rams score a lot of points.
Yeah, so I can still see that happening. I don't know if 145 catches.
I don't want you to get it wrong. That's Matt Stafford. That's not Matty Ice.
He's not Matty Ice.
Man, anybody named Matt is Matty Ice.
That's Matthew Stafford. Close.
Throwing the thing in that.
I mean, he the one that really got ice in his veins. He finished off the job. Matty Ice.
That defense finished that job.
Yeah, you got that right. All right, you mentioned receptions, 145 catches. Big deal. The single season record is 149. Held by somebody not on this list. Where's Michael Thomas?
Well, he got to get back on the field first.
Right.
He's definitely, but unhealthy.
He's still going to be suspended, right, when the season starts?
No, he won't be. But
he's ready to roll.
Unhealthy Michael Thomas is still better than who you had that did. Come on, man. He's a real number one. Your guy's not a number one receiver. That's why Jamar Chase is so high, but he shouldn't be 3 either.
But also, I had another thing I was thinking of. Keenan Allen's off this list. I feel like Keenan Allen's got that Steve Smith attitude.
And he's super underrated.
Yep. He does nothing but gets first downs and nonstop. And I feel like he just plays angry and mad.
Because he don't get the respect he deserves. That's why.
So, a few names left off the list. Michael Thomas was the first one I noticed.
Somebody got a new phone.
No, Tyler Boyd is on this list for your guys that's loving fantasy. I want to give you a sleeper, a black sheep, a diamond in the rough. Pick up Tyler Boyd. You won't be disappointed. That's one of the main reasons Tyler is going to be on this list. He's a sleeper. So it's a lot more names. Didn't have your D-Hops. D-Hop is going to miss half of the season, I believe. You miss guys that, like you said, your Michael Pittman Jr.'s. I mean, that's not a top 10 guy, but A lot of receivers that could have made.
I'm
A.J.
glad-
Brown.
Dude, I'm glad you mentioned him, though. I'm excited about Michael Pittman Jr., especially he'll be the number one. He's got Matty Ice throwing to him this year, which is a good thing. That's an improvement from Wentz. Big-bodied. OSU, man, you got to like your OSU, the Buckeye wide receivers. But, yeah, shout out. A couple of the homies watching on the chat. Byron Johnson, you with me there. Devontae Adams, best route runner and automatic hands. And Cam Morris right there, you knowing what's up, too. Madden knew where to put him. Number one with the cap.
Couple be average this year.
And that dude,
define average.
Dude, the great. Well, if they're talking about Cooper Kupp average, then the Rams are in fine shape because Cooper Kupp average the last 3 years is a top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah,
Production,
I think this last year
stats,
was
catches,
just
touchdowns,
crazy
whatever.
out
He's
of
been
this
doing it
world.
the last few years, and it drives me nuts in fantasy leagues because I still haven't picked him up, and he's been hurting me for the last 3 years. So Cooper Kupp's average. If Cooper Kupp is average, I mean that's 1,200-yard season. 10 touchdowns and 110 catches. So
Nah, this person is saying that Cooper Kupp will just be average.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, you're tripping.
well,
Byron.
that's what I'm saying. Cooper Kupp is going to be Cooper Kupp average. I don't know what
Wish
average
you
you're
had
talking
Aaron
about.
Rodgers throwing a Cooper Kupp. I bet that.
Chris Godwin left off there is another one I thought of. And then your Pittsburgh boys. I heard some dumb nonsense.
Nah,
Chase
none of them
Claypool
guys.
thinks he's a top 3 receiver in the league.
Nah, man.
So get on Twitter and go laugh at Chase Claypool if you want, because that ain't true.
Because Mr. Trubisky's going to be throwing him a lot of balls this season.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be.
right.
I don't even think it's gonna be Mitch. I think it's gonna be the rookie at some point. All right, and then of course the elephant, and then not the elephant in the room, but I know so much time to go, but man, I guess we ain't really get to get into this Jamar Chase and Justin
You
Jefferson
good?
thing.
Say your piece real
I
quick.
mean,
You
I
got-
still don't
you got
understand
60
what
seconds.
really. Somebody try to tell me because Jamar Chase can make this type of play and Justin Jefferson can't make the same type of play. It was a play against the Chiefs where he nice little cut. And he took it to
Whoever
the crib.
said that, I don't know what the hell they're
But
talking about.
I'm just saying, I don't understand.
Don't make him feel
I
good,
need.
man.
I just need Jamar Chase to repeat what he did. He can't leap anyone who's already done it twice at least. I
That
need
is
to see.
totally fair.
I need to see a second season out of it. Like I said, I've always said the young man's great. I don't understand how he keep putting him over Justin Jefferson because Justin Jefferson has only shown he could go up from here. And even with extra 3 games, Jamar Chase only beat his rookie record by 55 yards. It's a playoff run, which is a team sport.
Dude, those are all
That's
very
what the
valid
extra game,
arguments.
he only beat it by 55 yards. And my man didn't play the whole season last year.
Jay Jeff also had his two first seasons were, record setting. I think only behind like OBJ for some numbers, but and you're
Nah,
right.
he's number one.
You're
He's-
right.
he's the-
I had Justin Jefferson doubts after his first year. How can he improve off of this masterful, explosive season 1? So we'll see if he can do it again in season 2. But I'm right with you there.
You got Jamar Chase coming in and making an instant impact. You got him changing the face of people that used to be 49er
Burrow,
fans. That used to be 49er fans, and now they're Bengal fans. Look at his shirt right here, right now.
That's not
how
what
he changed.
That's not what that's.
Put the other look
And
side
that-
by
but
side,
that would-
baby.
it'd
They
be
look
the-
side by side. If this was Maury, they look real similar right now.
Nah. Joe Burrow is definitely the reason why that franchise has changed. It's
Dude,
not
that's
because
funny.
Jamar Chase. That connection has helped. Don't get me wrong. But regardless if y'all drafted Chase or not, I think the Bengals was in good hands because we seen how Joe started off the season last year. He started out blazing hot until he tore his ACL.
That was with AJ Green.
That was 2 years
But
ago.
you
AJ
bring
Green
in-
is
you bring
him.
in Jamar Chase, and every single thing that was in Cincinnati is now electrified.
We saw that at
and
LSU.
magnified.
Imagine if y'all would have got Justin Jefferson
With a
too.
season off.
So you don't think that Joe Burrow and a Justin Jefferson connection wouldn't happen? Like Jamar Chase literally was
It
able to
would've,
walk
but
into
it
the
would've
situation
been
he
different.
left at LSU because he was connected to the person who he won a championship with.
Right.
Other receivers people don't believe in Kirk Cousins, but JJ got the numbers he got with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. What Jamar done is fine. Let's see if he can duplicate it. He's a big play guy, but there was midseason drops, and he was top 5 in drops last year as well. So we'll see how if he could pick up his count. If y'all got 2 top 10 receivers, how is he going to improve anyway?
And that's why that's debatable, and that's why you guys need to stay tuned in to see what happens next. Jeremiah is always going to have that same debate whether Justin Jefferson is going to be better than Jamar.
Who had
But
the better
Jamar is going
stats
to
last
continue
year?
to come out and improve. Man, that Super Bowl run makes
It took
everything relevant.
Hey, now that's
we
Vikings,
go from
Bengals.
winning.
That's not Chase Jefferson. Who had a better season last year?
But it is.
No.
Right.
A rookie of the year
your man
season?
had 14.55. My man had 16.16. So who had better yards? Your man had more touchdowns.
We got rookie of the years under their belt. We got players of the week
competing
under
with
their
no
belt.
Justin Herbert, who was also breaking records
against big games like Kansas City. Who did Justin Jefferson even play last year? That was a top tier defense.
The Packers.
See that catch? See that catch? Not gonna let it fall far, man.
You start talking that BS and the bigger sign fell. That's what happened. You start talking that bull.
It's over when the fat lady starts singing. Wait for them white helmets to emerge. It's gonna be white helmets in Cincinnati. Everything red, hot, and white. Just gonna see, man.
Here's the question I'll propose to
who had the better season last year?
That's exactly it. For the fans out there, who had the better season last year? The kid who made it to a Super Bowl or the kid who had more yards receiving?
I mean, it took a Super Bowl run for him to even get more yards than him last year. Because I think he finished with like 17 something, and JJ finished with 6. So it took a Super Bowl run for that. But that was the Bengals and
interesting
that side of the bracket.
Big players make big plays at big
Debate of the week.
Right.
Okay, who had the
Got
better?
it.
Everybody, because I need to see. I need this stuff to separate. I need fans in Minnesota, like friends around the world, because I'm in Ohio, and a lot of people are pro Chase. I'm not. It's not that I'm anti-Chase. I'm just, I'm pro
You're
Jeff.
just very pro JJ.
Man, the fans are speaking for itself. I appreciate everybody in the chat right now. Byron, Cam.
He's an LSU guy.
Don't matter who they are.
Cam
they're
is a
speaking real
Bengal,
facts right now.
and Cam's a Bengal. So neither one of their opinions to me really matters because
Throw those out. Throw those out.
Hey, throw the red flag, man. We challenging everything right now.
it's a penalty.
And if the
RP nip. No,
And
let's
if
do
the
this.
Vikings wouldn't have given up any points in the last 2 minutes, they would have been like 15-1, and they would have been in the Super Bowl anyway. So
So we gonna see
They
if
were
Kevin O'Connell get
technically
this.
the Vikings
We gonna see
were
if Kevin
15-1
O'Connell could get
last
this
year.
thing together. We gonna see if Kevin O'Connell get this thing together. But again, it's been a great episode, you guys.
We ain't going nowhere yet. We got some stuff.
Oh, we
to
still
do.
got the Epsies. Oh,
We're just going to commercial break.
oh, okay, that's what it was. I thought he was leaving.
Nope.
Because the timing is off. All right,
No, you
let's
good.
go ahead and get to the Epsies.
We'll come back. We're gonna
Espies.
we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We're gonna regroup, and we'll be back. Close out the
Definitely.
SPs, whatever else. If you got any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll look at them. We'll get back to you in just a couple minutes. We'll be back right here on That's Debatable.
One of the coolest parts of my life is learning from Bob McElligott, getting, especially with commentary, getting to learn the little ins and outs and getting to commentate games with him. It was just some of the coolest experiences of my life.
Broadcasting the ASWA shows gave me the opportunity to experience what it's like and gave me the confidence to start my own business and basically do it myself.
I would say some of my favorite moments in emphasis were the basketball tournament games. They're just such a different environment to high school basketball, especially in the tournament. You're always playing for love of the game, but you love it a little bit more.
My experience in the Sports Emphasis program was something that was essential to me. We got to do live broadcast. We've done it all. We did football, basketball, baseball, and from anything from commentary to behind the scenes to just running the scoreboard. We just did it all. Any kind of value in production you could possibly have, we did it, and that was just so essential to where I'm at now.
Welcome back to That's Debatable, everybody. Quick commercial break. We back in it. Off of some heated NFL discussions, man. I can't wait to continue this all season long. We're going to have to put some money where our mouths are. But tonight, ESPYs are going on. I also like that Steph Curry's hosting. He's personable, pleasant, kind of funny, not too funny, nice and light and easy. He's a very safe choice, especially coming off NBA Finals, MVP, all that biz. Good choice there. Steph's hosting. So, couple, obviously, we aren't going to go through all of them. There's a bunch of junk ones. They just keep adding them. Sports are slow, so let's make the ESPYs. First one, who should win Best NBA Player? If you got that graphic up, throw it up for me, my man. I mean, there's the 2-time reigning MVP on there, and Nikola Jokic, and then the other 3, Embiid, Doncic, Steph Curry.
It's easy.
So, who should win the Best NBA Player? They can also not be on that list. Will.
It's the host himself, the babyface assassin. I mean, you look at the rest of the list. If you're the NBA, you're looking at Jokic.
You're not.
That's how they chose him to be the MVP.
That don't mean you're the best player, but continue.
It doesn't.
I'm going with Steph Curry. That's my guy.
All right, who you got? Best player in the NBA? Quick.
Kevin Durant is
not on the
he's
list.
not available. He's like, okay, my bad.
That's why I said.
Okay, I mean the real MVP. He's not on that list either. Giannis.
Table slam.
You're right. Giannis isn't on there either. So I mean, since you went with Steph, I have to say Joe. But I agree with you, Steph, too. But if we just offer the regular season, just solely regular season, Joel Embiid.
Man, we're going with the fans' favorite. This is the fans' show. So
you already picked Steph. I can't pick your answer.
I asked you one question. You gave me 3 answers.
And none of them are on the list.
Now that's me being funny.
I preface that with you could not be on the list.
Nah, yeah, that's why I did that.
Who should win? Best NBA player? Man, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely Steph Curry.
I was surprised Giannis wasn't on there, too.
It's disrespectful to,
I mean, I guess you put up, I don't know.
We can finally say LeBron's been replaced on that list. It's been a while since you don't see a best in the NBA without LeBron James.
I wonder if he's even nominated for any award. That'd be the first time since 2003.
What did he do last year? Would be year 19, average 30?
He's just LeBron. I mean, you put him in anything.
They're trying to give him any award.
And that one's already been announced. Winner of that, Steph Curry, the chef himself.
That's one
best
for me.
man.
Next up, who should win best player in the NFL? Excuse me. If you got that graphic up, my guy, man of discussion lately, Cooper Kupp, T.J. Watt, Aaron Rodgers. Who knows why he's on there? Because he's also the
same
2-time
reason why
reigning
Jokic
MVP.
one was on there.
And Jonathan Taylor.
Neither one should have been MVPs.
I'm surprised they got JT on there.
Because the year before it should have been Derrick Henry, and last year it should have been
Who should have been the best? Who's the best player in the NFL last year?
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. The last year's best player, hands down, was both on the Rams. On the offensive side, Cooper Kupp, and on the defensive side, Aaron Donald.
I'm surprised you see him not on that list. Aaron Donald.
Actually,
I mean,
also
you got T.J. Watt.
Yeah, but he was the MVP, DPOI last year. So
yeah, I mean, for that reason, that's why I want to go with T.J. I've seen him play obviously 2 times a year.
Cooper.
But the way that you have to get a double team the same way you got to get on Aaron, TJ's not too far behind, and I know his upside is going to continue to grow. So I would say one of the best players in the NFL had to be TJ Watt.
Yeah, I got to go with the Triple Crown King, Cooper Kupp, man. That best season in a while, done something. He was a few yards away and a few receptions away from not only being a Triple Crown King, also owning those reception and yards records. He almost broke Megatron's record of yards and Michael Thomas' record of receptions, all in one season. That's just crazy to me. So Cooper Kupp, definitely baller of the week, baller of the year, best player in the NFL.
That's right,
He's all of that. He's definitely all of that.
Best player in the NFL. I'm gonna combo. I'll go running back, but it's Derrick Henry for the first half and it's Jonathan Taylor for the second half. Those combined, those 2 are my best player in the NFL. There's got to be a kicker in there somewhere that just helped his team win 5 more extra games.
McPherson. He was going 4 for 4 for a long time.
There you go. That's right. Oh, that's right. Wendy's, baby.
Yep.
McPherson, the youngster, man, babyface killer. He's the new babyface assassin.
Indeed.
There we go. All right, moving on. ESPYs is still going on. Man, shit, I ought to get this job. I'm going to hit ESPN up and see what they're doing next year. They need a host.
Hey, it's got to be a tag team, maybe even a trio.
All right. Dude, that's debatable on the road.
Everybody likes a big 3.
Everybody likes the big 3. ESPYs next up. Which should win best game? They had 4 games up, I believe. All right, there they are. Chiefs and Bills, obviously. Everybody knows the OT thriller. The Kansas Jayhawks in their 16-point deficit, overcoming that to win the NCAA National Championship. Bryce Young, the Iron Bowl, don't care. The UConn ladies in NC State, that was a hot one in March Madness in the Elite Eight, the women's tourney. What you got?
The Kansas one breaks my heart because it shouldn't have happened as a North Carolina Tar Heel fan.
Everything happens as it should, my man.
That's debatable.
All right, give it to me. Best game.
But I'm gonna go with Bryce Young. He was super cold and pretty much all the way up until the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and then he and the team just caught fire from there all the way into the overtime, and they held their own overtime. I remember watching it, rooting for Auburn, so that's how I know that. That's why I feel like Bryce Young and them really did what they had to do to get that job done. A lot of other stuff, I don't want to say flukes. Like I said, not a fan of the Kansas one at all. Really, I just feel like they just need to go back and watch that film. That's the Bills' fault. That's why that happened. That game shouldn't have been as great as it has been. I don't even know if the Bills win that one outright without that extra 13-second one. Is the game that great? I mean, it was still a great game, but would it be what it is? Rule-changing, game-changing game because of that overtime rule. But I really like the Bryce Young and the Alabama one, even though I'm not a fan of Bama.
4 overtimes, hard to argue that. Willie.
Man, that miracle in the playoffs of just seeing Kansas City and the Bills just fight into the end, and the 13-second miracle, it's hard to go up against them, but I'm going to choose that Kansas because they were down in North Carolina, and at going into halftime, I was for sure that North Carolina was going to win the championship, dude. But to see the way Kansas came out, and it wasn't like they had to go and fight all the way to the end of the second half. They came right out and jumped right back 16 points and started taking that lead and never looked back. So I got to go with Kansas winning the national championship.
Dude, nice. That's yeah. I'd take the Chiefs and Bills. Just the way it was set up, that overtime, boom, 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 boom. But man, Bill Self, whatever he did at halftime, whatever he told them boys, hate to see it, but it was excellent. All right,
that's all on the Bills, man. Squib kick, take some time off the clock, prevent, but don't let them.
We know.
I'm just saying,
still the best game. All right, next up,
give me Bryce Young and the Bama.
That was an excellent game, too. All right. Next up on the SBs, who should win best team? List of 7, I think, championship teams. Take your pick. You taking Chicago Sky, Will? Candace Parker, you rocking there? Who had the best team last year?
Oh, man, that's one heck of a list right there. But
champions. Man, that Oklahoma Sooners girls softball team, they were dirty. They absolutely steamrolled everyone this year. They had the best college softball player maybe ever. Home run crushing.
Your Colorado
headlines
Avalanche.
stealing. I know. That's me all the way. You know me. I'm homering up, man. That Avs team was put together. Super Joe, front office,
I'm gonna go ahead
top
with
down.
the ladies, man. I'm gonna go, fight for the ladies of Chicago Sky.
Yeah.
I like what Candace is over there doing. It's a lot of need some lady love in this award show. So we'll go ahead and go right with Chicago Sky on this one.
Nice. Candace Parker, first chip first chip ever to Chicago. Jared, who you got?
I got the Georgia Bulldogs. They had them. I want to say 9 first-round draft picks, 16 players drafted overall.
Dude.
Georgia finally got over the Alabama hump. After losing in the championship game, they came back in the actual championship game and said, no, we weren't ready then. We're ready now, and they got the big trophy. I didn't believe in Bennett. Bennett proved that he proved me wrong. And that offense, Cook. Not in that offense, but I'll shout out to James Cook. I like what he was doing. That's Dalvin Cook's little brother. But that defense was amazing. Even my Vikings got. I think everybody's team got a piece of the Georgia Bulldogs. We got Lewis Seen. They starting safety. I like what Georgia's doing, but shout out to the Rams. They finally bought the correct championship. They made all the right moves this year to get them into that position, and bringing in Matthew Stafford was key.
Yep.
Also, shout out to the Golden State Warriors. Just what just to bounce back after what KD leaving, everybody was hurt, and they just came back on strong. That's one of my predictions I got right this year. And also, shout out to the Chicago Sky, Finals MVP Candace Parker. That's my GOAT. You know that. Just what they did was amazing this year as well. I got hip to the Avalanche late, but the way they rolled through the playoffs was crazy. And after talking to our guy Bob, and he let me know that they really did some things like the Rams did this season, just to get them in that same type of position to win. So kudos to them. Kudos to the Oklahoma Sooners. I'm not really familiar with them this year, but like I said, out of everyone, shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs for finally getting it done. That squad was loaded, and they got it done.
Yep.
So, yeah.
After a few years of seeing those boys in the NFL, we're going to be able to look back and see exactly how good that Georgia defense was. You shouted out with all those draft picks, and best NFL player went to Cooper Kupp, and the best game went to Kansas City, and the Bills. We figured that goes there. All right, that's all I've got updated. Next up on our slate.
Quick question: the Georgia Bulldog team last year. Or this year, last year,
whatever.
Because Justin Jefferson just came out and said that in 2019 LSU team is the best championship ever. That offense is electric, but I just would love to see that LSU offense versus this Georgia defense.
2001 Miami Hurricanes over.
I mean, I'm talking about the past couple of years now. Yeah,
over.
That team.
That's a good debate. We'll bring that up. That's a good question.
That's a nice debate of the week.
All right.
2.
What's your best play of the year? Nominees are Justin Tucker's record 66, Megan Rapinoe corner kick in the Olympics last year, John Morant the poster dunk, and Hansel Emmanuel the one-armed basketball playing high school phenom.
Which poster of John Morant?
Dude,
He got something.
The poster.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Oh well, I'm gonna go with my guy Hansel Emmanuel, who signed with Penny's team, who's going to Memphis, I should say. I've been on him. I've been watching him for a while now. That not even because I hate the asterisk of for him to have one arm. He's a baller. Nah, that kid's
He's just a baller.
I still ain't seen many clips of him playing defense because I try to put him on one of my older guys, just to like check this kid out. He really doing this type of things. I think he started like how does he get rebounds and how did he actually stay in front of his defender? Which in none of his highlights, I actually never seen that, and they don't. But I actually him
taking that best play. How about you, Will? Best play of the year?
Hey, I'm going with the man Justin Tucker, keeping it in the AFC North. And it's a record-setting kick. Yeah, I think a couple of us did.
That was beautiful.
But
against Detroit,
a record is a record, and that's one of the best plays from the NFL season. So I'm gonna roll with them.
I'm taking Justin Tucker, the 66-yard field goal, because it hit me a parlay and won me $50. My man, money, cash is king, dude. That's how we roll around here.
Picked him too, but I like what the one-armed kid is doing. Jaws just amazing, but Justin Tucker, I love me a kicker, man, because I'm a fan of a team whose kicker just don't always get it done and actually lost us some big games, like
you got
the NFC Championship.
We are kicker friendly around here.
I'm pro kicker. A great kicker like JT is amazing, bro.
Last one, who should win best championship performance? Man, we've been talking a lot about Cooper Kupp, but the other couple, Max Verstappen. I know we're not big on F1 around here. That was a big race, apparently, over in Abu Dhabi in the Grand Prix. Came from behind. Juliana Pena. My one thing with this is that ESPN, all of UFC is on ESPN, so they just got to throw this one girl in there, get some UFC in the awards. I don't know. Cross-promotional branding is what that is. But I don't know anything about that fight. But you know me and my guy, Cale Makar. My goodness. Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Stanley Cup playoffs MVP. There's your best championship performance. Goes to Cale Makar because he did it for like 18 games. He didn't just do it once and then let his defense win the game for him. He was that defense.
Man, I can't go with anybody up there. I don't even know why my man who's hosting the event is not on that list.
Yep.
Because what Steph Curry did, especially that game in Boston when he put up 43 points, was just amazing. Like, he lit it up. I could go with Cooper Kupp as well just because I like what he did in the Super Bowl. But he really wasn't. He came on super late. I just love what Steph did this whole finals run and the whole playoff run as well.
Yep.
He averaged, I don't know why he's not on there, but he averaged 31, 6, and 5.
Because he's hosting, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, but he won Athlete of the Year. But 43, 10, and 4 is what he had in that Game 3.
Yep, that was nasty, and that was a huge Game 3, too. He stepped up big time. Will, who you got?
I'm going to go with Eli Apple's best friend, Mr. Cooper Kupp himself. because of Cooper is the reason that the hat that I'm dubbing today, the plaque that's sitting right here, they don't have a ring still ever in the NFL. But Cooper stepped up when his team needed him the most. The defense stepped up even more, but the offense had to put up points, and Cooper Kupp was that guy.
That's true.
Lame, kind of
Truth.
correct. Gale McCarr. He's the guy. Conn Smythe winner. Baby-faced assassin. Man, that kid looks like he's 15.
This is disrespectful that he's not even nominated, though.
But that's it. You are kind of right there.
Like, what he did this year was pretty sweet.
All right. That's all we got for That's Debatable. ESPYs are still going on. Check them out, I believe. I mean, so what else is there? The best couple of awards I was interested in. But a couple debates of the week, like I said in the chat. Who had the better season? Super Bowl appearing Jamar Chase turned around a franchise with the help of his teammates, or helped his teammates turn around a franchise, or Justin Jefferson, who had some better statistical season than Jamar Chase getting to the Super Bowl.
I mean, the Bengals
That's right in there.
Better year than the Vikings overall.
Right.
True.
That's all I got. I'm Ryan Dietrich. You can find me at Ryan's Fingers. You know what it is for That's Debatable. My guys, Jeremiah Bays, Will Ward. Shout out Adam Dell behind the screen on the ones and twos as always.
2019 LSU, 2021 Georgia.
We're gonna have to do separate for that. I like that.
I think that one's everybody's gonna go with Chase. I don't know why, but
It's America's favorite, the new America's team.
Madden.
Who they?
I just feel like that's a good one. That's a good one. 2019 LSU, 2021 Georgia.
Yeah. We'll put it out there. All right, boys. For That's Debatable. Thanks for tuning in, fam. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, and share. As always, hit us up in the chats. We'll be on the socials. Let's get into some combos on Instagram, Facebook. Let's debate. Everybody have a good night. Thanks.
It's 1 year, guys.